Welcome back to another episode of Transitions from War. I'm your host, Mike Ergo, a Marine Corps veteran. I've returned from Iraq and faced the challenges of PTSD, addiction, and grief to create a new life that is balanced and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. I'm joined by fellow Marine Rich Strayling, and together we talk about our journey to mental and physical health through endurance sports. Each episode will share some of our journey or interview inspiring veterans and subject matter experts to help us find that purpose and connection we all crave. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email me at mike@transitionsfromwar.com. And if you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your audio. As always, thanks for listening, everyone, and let's get to the show.
This meeting is being recorded by the host. Got it.
Right on, man. So I got Mike Kellogg from California Waterfowl Association, the Veteran Hunt Program. What's up, man? How you been?
What's up, big dog? How are you?
I'm doing all right today. I'm just working my way through some trail mix, which I think is everybody's favorite thing that they pretend is healthy, which is really just freaking candy.
Everything's good other than the pretzels, dude. Not a fan of the pretzels.
Yeah, man. So we met officially at one of the banquets to where we're raising money for the, what do they call it? What was the official name of it? I know I'm going to fuck it up if I say it.
So it was the America's Freedom Fighters Banquet, which all proceeds from that go directly back to our Veteran Hunt Program through CWA. And that's where I met you at. Yeah, because you met Mike Peters, the colonel, on a Calusa hunt, I believe. And that's how the entire ball got rolling with you guys in LAXC and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Your podcast and everything. Yeah.
I was one number away from winning one of those pistols, dude. I remember you won it. And I was like, ugh.
Dude, I won it and I gave it back.
I know.
And I was like, no, I can't do that. No way.
I know. I was pissed. I mean, you know, the guys got it. Cool. Good on them. Active duty dudes.
Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah. They gave it back to active duty guys instead of the vet thing, right? Everybody's a veteran now.
Yeah.
But,
That was a cool event, man. It was so funny. Me and Scott, mutual friend of ours, Scott Brooks. I was sending him pictures of like Max 5 pattern, like vests and stuff. So I was like, that's what we need to get for next year, man.
Max 5 pattern vests.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Brooks is a super good dude, man. He got selected. I met him on that hunt with RMEF and Merlot.
Yeah.
Last year, and he knew a buddy. It's funny how like the vet community works in this freaking state, dude. Everybody kind of knows everybody, especially in the waterfowl community. Yeah. And he ended up, I think you told me that you're his neighbor. Like you guys live across the street or something. And I was like, what?
Isn't that wild, man? And then, yeah, he got me into hunting too. It's like we were in the same unit, same time, didn't know each other. And he moves across the street from me. So it's just like the odds of that happening are, I mean, phenomenally low.
Meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So he just came over one day with a pair of waders. He's like, "Hey, you size 12?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, well, this is gonna fit you. We're going hunting next month." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know. I mean, I thought, you know, I'm like, "All right, we'll see if it's okay." You know, like I didn't know. And then, you know, out there in the marsh, even before I shot my first duck, I was like, "Dude, I get it, man."
It is, to me, like the best thing ever, dude. I mean, even since before the Marine Corps, dude, or the military, any of that, it was something that you get up early in the morning. As a kid, dude, you're like excited. It's like crazy.
Oh, man. It's like better than Christmas.
It is. I was just going to say that. It's like better than Christmas, bro. And the drive out there, it's dark. And then the first hunt I was on was like phenomenal hunt, and drove a boat out to the blind, shot my first duck, dude. And the guy that we were with, Dan Sozi, who's very involved with CWA, he's like, "You ready to go?" And it's like 9, right? And I'm like, I thought this was like an all-day thing, man. Like, no, I'm not ready to go, but I couldn't tell him that, you know, at like 8, 9 years old, however old I was, I don't know.
Yeah.
And It was on. It was on since then, man. I just absolutely love it. It's the best thing ever. And then getting, I never thought that my time in the service, I'd be able to apply my passion for waterfowl hunting in cahoots. You know what I mean? It's just a trip. It's crazy.
Yeah. So how'd you, I mean, so we'll back up a little bit. When were you in the Marine Corps? What years?
08 to 15.
So you grow up duck hunting, waterfowl, you go in 08 to 15, you get back. And then how'd you get involved with CWA?
Gotcha. So I'd come home on leave, like, what would that be? Post-deployment leave, like from like combat deployment stuff, because I was Oki and then Afghanistan a couple times, and then come home, and I'd be lucky enough to get a hunt in, and then got out of the Corps, and I actually applied myself for a CWA hunt. Didn't know much about it, and the program was pretty new. So it's 2022 now. That was probably back in 18 or 19. And I got a call from, I was thinking it was just like a DFG thing, right? Like you put in for lottery results and stuff, and you'll never, I mean, if you're really lucky, you'll get a freaking selection or something. But I got a phone call from a Hawaii number. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking answering that. Who the fuck is that? Well, the guy leaves a voicemail, right? And he says, hey, this is Mike Peters with CWA, and you've been selected for this hunt. That was down in like the grasslands in Southern California. And I'm on my way home from work, and I was like, holy shit, I got to call this guy back. Call him back, get Mike on the hook. And he's like, dude, you just missed it. You're like 2 minutes too late because I filled the hunt. And I'm like, damn. And so we ended up BSing. And it's a funny story. So I ended up telling him too much, because I told him about my involvement with duck hunting and some of like the FOD people and properties that we've hunted through the years and so on and so forth. And he's like, well, this hunt that I was going to select you for was kind of a special hunt. So we're going to put you on one that's more like a camaraderie thing. And that was out in Staten Island before COVID, pre-COVID. We could stay in the house out there. And I think that we got that back this year as well. But ended up meeting Mike there, Mike Peters, and freaking phenomenal hunt, man. We drew a great blind, had a guide, Greg Damitz, another good dude. He's been guiding for CWA, that hunt program, for a long time, and as a volunteer for other causes and stuff. But I told Mike, I was like, hey, whatever you need, you know, I can help you out. We can do this, do that. So we ended up donating some properties and some hunts, and it just all kind of transpired. So Mike's building the program, Jeff Smith's building the program, and I'm over here like, well, let's do this, or I can give you this, give you that, just as a guide, you know. And it just got so big that eventually Mike brought me in, and Jeff was all good with it. So now Mike and I are like neck and neck, going off of each other and just building stuff, dude. And it's like, it's gotten huge. It's gotten real big. Between waterfowl is our main gig, right? Like goose hunts and duck hunts and fishing trips they've had for a long time, and so on and so forth. It's just a super good gig. So I don't know if that answers your question. I kind of went on a rampage.
No, that's how you got involved, man. That's a cool way to be. Yeah, I didn't really understand, how it all fit in. I was figuring, okay, because like you're saying, with Fish and Game or Fish and Wildlife, you can put in for a lottery, to see if you get selected for the veteran weekend for hunting, which for you non-waterfowl hunters, it's, weekend in February where season's been closed for everybody else for a couple of weeks. And they'll do a one weekend where, kids, juniors can hunt, and then a weekend where vets can hunt. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put in for that. And lo and behold, I got a call from an 808 number. And I'm like, well, I'll take a chance on this. And I talked to Colonel Mike Peters, who the coolest part about him at first is he doesn't mention that he's a colonel. He doesn't lead with that.
Yeah, until you figure it out, right? Yeah. Word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no, that was cool. And he talked to me about it, and I'm just stoked. And the experience I had with him, being out there, had a dude, Kyle, he's my guide, former Ranger, talked a lot of shit, hung out, shot some ducks.
Yep.
It was fun, man. Just like being around, hanging around other vets, and you know what I figured out after that hunt? And it was that, so for a while after I got out, it was hard for me to come close to even holding a rifle, just because I'd hold a rifle and I'd start shaking, man. It was embarrassing to say, but I would have, some PTSD symptoms showing up. And like, cause my connection was just, slinging lead at people's bodies and everything that went around that. So to be able to be out on the marsh and really be shooting in a context that was safe, hanging out with other vets, and being able to bring some food home to the family, everything about that just changed my relationship with weapons back to how I wanted it to be. So there's not this area of my life I had to avoid. And so it completely, I'd say, healed that, which was phenomenal.
Yeah. I've got you, because I'm no psychologist or anything like that, but what I associated at one point firearms with, and I mean, to an extent, but it's that combat mindset, right? I mean, you got something in your hands and you know how to use it, you're trained to use it, and getting out of that mindset when it's been instilled in you, and that's what you did for however long, right? And that was your job, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to do our job, and we're going to be the fucking best at it. That's a huge part, dude. And I understand what you're saying totally, but the reason that we're doing what we're doing and why we're doing it is way deeper than just taking some guys out and like, hey, dude, there's access to these properties and CWA is doing a great thing, man. And here you go. It's more than that, dude. And we take guys from, a private PFC, whatever they call them, the Army specialists, or if I messed that up, apologize, but all the way up to a sergeant major, or, there's generals that are involved, colonels, officers enlisted. We don't know that, dude, when we go through our selection process, but, for guys that are combat vets and they were there and they wanted to do that, the entirety for me is getting back involved with any type of veteran that you trust, because there's always a trust issue, right? You're like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Who's that guy? And then you figure it out and you're sitting in a blind with them and you guys are giving each other shit back and forth. And all of a sudden you got that facade, right? You're there and you're in the moment, and maybe the shakes go away. Who knows what it is, right? But sitting in the blind and being out in the middle of nowhere with some dude, you know how vets are, dude. I could talk to somebody for 5 minutes, be like, okay, I know where you are. I know what you're about. I know what you did. And we're all good. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But that's why we take so much pride and honor in doing what we do, is playing these hunts to vets. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cause I mean, you get out and a lot of people, I mean, for most of us, unless you're a reservist, right? Then your unit is scattered across the country, right?
Yeah.
So your unit's just everywhere. I mean, I have people from, Boston, Massachusetts to, Tuscaloosa, Alabama and shit, everywhere. So I'm not hanging out with them. And a lot of times, for some people, meeting vets too is just an awkward thing, because I don't know. This way you have something in common. You're doing something that involves all of your senses. And so you can be focused at it and use those skills for something that's fun. And also it's just like, you get to be connected with vets again, which is one of the biggest things that people say they miss about the military. It's generally not, fucking police calling cigarette butts in the quad, it's not like top 5 of what people are missing about serving. Yeah, it's hanging out with other dudes, man. Other men and women.
It's the camaraderie thing, dude. I mean, in all, that's what it is you've got that Army and at Sanborn's through the CWA and Merlot, that hunt, I think there was 10 or 12 vets that were selected for it, and took all these guys from different walks, from super junior service members to we even had a Vietnam guy there, dude, and put him in a house on stilts and said, we're going to stay here for 4 days and 3 nights, right? And you could feel it, right? Because we're there the day before. You can feel the tension. Everybody shows up. They're trying to fill each other out. Some guys had drinks to make themselves feel a little bit more comfortable. Other guys are just like, you know, whatever, this is what it is. And if you took like a normal civilian or 10 civilians and said, this is what we're going to do for 4 days, 3 nights, it wouldn't have worked out like that, right? Everybody just molded. They figured out the plan and just rolled with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, there's something cool when you really click and you meet another vet. It's you know, like at least the guys I was with, especially, you know, we can talk and it seems like as if no time has passed, even though for me, I've been out for almost 20 years. So
20,
almost 20, bro.
Holy cow. You're an old man.
Fucking old man, bro. I'm going to turn 40 next year. I know.
You went in as a young buck.
Dude,
then.
if I'd stayed in, I would look like I was like 120. I mean, 40 years old in Marine Corps years is like, I look older than General Mattis, I'm sure.
No, dude, I get it though. But when they say Marines age in dog years, brother, that's fucking truth.
Dude, man. Especially if you're in some like hard ass like unit that's always out in the field. I know all my friends who stayed in, which is like 4 of them. Most of them got out, but you know, they're retiring as sergeant majors, first sergeants, and everything. It's like, wow, it's a trip. It's
a trip to think about it all, huh?
Yeah.
And you kind of look back and you're like, you're talking to buddies that are still on, dudes that are freaking DIs or they've been DIs and then they're out and they're freaking gunnies, first arms. Because I was later than you, but it's just a trip to think about what if.
Yeah. I thought about it for a while and came down to it. I wouldn't trade my time in for the world, and I'm glad I got out when I did. It's a weird place to be, but yeah, that nostalgia, you look back on it. And I think that's what's cool about things like what CWA is doing with vets, is that you get to experience that feeling again, hanging out with other vets. And it's different because sometimes, like a lot of times, vet hangouts are, you know, it might be a barbecue, which nothing wrong with that, but that's a barbecue. Or it's like at a VFW hall, and you know, some people are okay with wearing, you know, like the uniforms and stuff, but oh my God, I have this feeling. For me, if you catch me with, you know, wearing an In-N-Out hat, you know, a piss cutter with fucking medals dangling off the side, just shoot me. Just fucking take a 12 gauge to my face and pull.
Yeah, dude, I get that, man. I completely understand that too. The thing about the waterfowl gig or a fishing trip or something, right, is all service members know how to tactfully give each other shit.
Yes.
Some guys are way more blunt, and other guys are just like, okay, I'm just going to kind of be quiet and stay off, you know. But when you get a bull sprig or freaking 15 bull sprig or a bunch of specs or a bunch of snows that are coming in, pooping on you, and say you guys are at your limit, and then everybody's been shooting all day, right? And then the guy to your left misses, and you're like, fuck it, pussy, how'd you miss that, you dipshit, right? Or it's the first shot of the day, dude, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they're like, you can give each other shit, and everybody's like, oh, okay, I'm back to where I need to be. That's the fucking shit.
Oh, exactly. Like, yeah, shoot just like that next time, except, you know, actually fucking hit it. Or like,
yeah, it's like talking to you, man. I mean, I met you. I think it was on a recommendation. Colonel Peters got you and I in touch, or however the hell it worked out. And then I was like, oh, fellow Marine, good to go. And then we give each other shit back and forth. You know, we only hung out once or twice, maybe at the banquet, but you know, different time era Marines that are like, okay, same level. And listen, dudes, there's even officers, man, that have come through the Veteran Hunt Program, and I can usually pick them apart, just kind of like by their articulation and stuff like that. But there's nothing better than BSing with a bunch of vets, man. It's all good.
I love it. I love it so much. You know, it just reminds me, like I was fishing with a couple other vets, and one dude was an ICE agent. And so, similar culture. We're snaring crabs out on the coast, and he snares one. He brings it in. He's like, "Hey, get a picture so I can, show my kids." So I take a picture. I'm like, "All right, that's good. Let's do one more. Except this time, don't look like such a pussy. Ready, go." and then I get the best picture because he's smiling. And it's like, that's how we talk to each other. That's our love language.
Yeah. And that's when you're like, that's where the comfort level sets in, right? It's like, okay, good to go. I'm back where I need to be. And that's what I feel like. Everybody gets out of the service differently, or everybody experiences combat deployments or combat situations, and it affects us all differently, right? But when you can feel a little bit of that energy and that comfortable scenario, situation, comfortableness, I don't even want to say it, but that's when it sets in, and it's like, okay, this is badass. Like, this is where we need to be. This is what we're doing, and everybody's good to go. I mean, for the most part, for that little bit of time, a weekend or a day or 4 days, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I'm laughing because I drove up when I had my hunt up in Calusa in January. I drove up, spent the night, at the check station in my truck. And here's the thing about trucks, man. So, pro tip for those of you who do this: when you open your door without using the key fob to unlock it, your car alarm goes off. And so I started honking. I'm like, fuck, I'm, pressing all the buttons to get it to stop. So I make it worse. And then it finally stops, because I had to get out and take a piss. And then when I finally walk over there with my waders on, I kind of look back. I'm like, fuck, you hear that, asshole? Where the fuck that was? And you just let your car alarm off.
The guy at the refuge that set his freaking truck alarm.
Exactly. I mean, we'll probably be lucky if we see one fucking duck around here today.
I know, man. I know I grew up hunting the refuges and doing all that, man. I mean, I got stories for days and days and days, but there's no better way to learn, I think, than putting your time in on the refuge for sure. And it's whether it's a CWA hunt or, you're just going out there and stomping around trying to figure out where to go. The social media thing, people are guarded and they're kind of secretive about their spots, but you learn a lot when you hunt by yourself or you hunt with a mentor, for sure. Yeah. I got to pee.
Yeah, go for it, man. Cool. Well, Mike's taking a piss. We're, man, it's an interesting thing to be able to come back to using a weapon. Like I said before, I'd shake. I bought a 30-06. With the intention of hunting pigs, and I think it was like 2010. I barely picked it up. I mean, I picked it up once because one of my friends wanted to go shoot it, and so I didn't want to totally look like a pussy. So we went out and shot, and man, look, PTSD is a real thing, but it really changed my mindset and changed how comfortable I was around it. I think being with other vets and doing something like going on a hunt. And I know I've tried to explain what it is about hunting. I was just talking to Mike about what it is about hunting that, there's something primal about it that, I'm not trying to convince all the vegans of the world that they need to become hunters, but there's something that's hard to explain, to put my finger on, about going on the hunt that just feels primal, just feels right. And like a lot of people tell you, it's not just the pulling the trigger, but I mean, it's everything from prepping gear, getting a date locked down, driving out there, staging gear, loading up. And then what I love too is wading out to the water, getting set in a blind and just like listening so the wings flutter around like right before shoot time, your duck's flying around.
And the birds are going.
Oh. Yeah.
I overheard what you're talking about while I was taking a leak, man, and that is 100% it. Harvesting game is a bonus, dude, to me. I mean, there's guys that are out there and they're like, no, we got to shoot our limit every day. We got to do this, we got to do that. I know guys that their personal limit is 5.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they can go to Idaho and shoot greenheads all day, and they're like, no, 5 is good for me, just because they can do that. And being out there the entire buildup, putting the work in, your decoy spread, whether you're on a big goose decoy spread and you're setting out like 1,500 full bodies, or you're hunting a refuge and putting out 24 decoys. And like you said, whether you're on a private club or you're on a refuge shooting ducks, the birds are everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's chaos. It's like, holy shit, dude. Oh, fuck. It's going to be a good day. Going to be a good day. And then the refuge, the first shot's fired. Birds go 50, 70 yards higher. And they're, you know, but even at private stuff, man, it's like the best part is just being out there, the entire buildup, and being with dudes that you want to be around too.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No, man, it's like, so it's one thing on one level, it's really cool to get to know a guy that, you know, I served with, but didn't know while we were serving together, and hang out and kind of BS in the blind. And I've done a couple other hunts, one with CWA and one with another group, being paired up with another vet I haven't met. And you just get to BS and talk during the day. And occasionally you take a break and take some shots at some birds and go back to getting to know each other. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, it's badass, man. It's badass. And so I'll give you a scenario. Back to that hunt with RMEF and Merlot, and a guy named Scott Brooks was texting either me or Mike Peters, and they were at a flood stage, right? So guys that weren't in bigger pickups, we had to pick them up at the road at Sanborn Slough, right off of Gridley-Calusa Highway. And we get word that this guy named Scott Brooks is there, right? And I was like, okay, good to go. So we take my buddy Sean's truck down, pick up this guy, Scott Brooks. No idea who the hell he is, right? And he's in like this smaller SUV. I think it was a Honda Pilot. Or
Yeah.
something. And he gets out, he's got bald head and like this policed mustache, right?
Yeah.
And I help him like grab his bags and stuff. And of course he wants to do everything by himself and shake his hand and whatnot. And Scott's doing his thing in his car. I get back in my buddy's truck and I look at my buddy Sean. I was like, dude, that's a cop. And he's all,
100%, right?
he's all, what? And I was like, oh yeah, no, he's a cop. He's cool, but he's a cop. And Scott gets in and tells me a little bit of his background. Marine Corps, I think it's a 31,
Yep,
31.
machine gunner.
And yeah. And just told me about Iraq a little, just, you know, the brief stuff. And I said, what do you do for work now? And he goes, I'm a cop. I started laughing. Me and Sean started roaring, right? And I was like, dude, I fucking told you, bro. Which dude, law enforcement, love them to death, man. But just, yeah, you could feel it. You know,
dude, I know. It's always like you can tell a cop from a firefighter, because a firefighter will have the most outlandish mustache. Look like whatever Ben Stiller's character from freaking Dodgeball, you know, like the handlebar.
Straight up, dude, like freaking handlebar with the swoop going up. Wax.
Exactly. I know where the cops like it's like they play for the Yankees. You know, they have very specific facial hair and everything else is shaved.
They got a little bit of guideline, yeah. Or what is it? Rules and regs.
Rules and regs, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, what I'm looking forward to is continuing, you know, work with you and CWA and get more vets together like this. And what I love is that, we can get new hunters out there. You know, this isn't just for people who have been hunting their whole life, which my impression was before that. So what I'm excited to do is, you know, share not only this podcast, but other things that, you know, CWA has popped up and say like, look, man, you're a vet. We want to get you into this hobby, but you know, under the guise of we're going to go hunting, but more importantly, man, we're getting vets together. So
that's exactly it. Yeah. I mean, if you have never been on a duck hunt or goose hunt, a fishing trip, turkey, pigs, you name it, sign up for the Veteran Hunt Program. If you don't have waders or you can't afford waders, we've got waders for you. I've given guys before extra shotguns and hooked them up because they don't have a gun. we will just about provide most things within means. And it's, because we got to get them to those guys. It depends where they are, logistics and stuff like that. But it's 100% free. Sign up. We've got guides that are 95% veterans that want to help out and love hanging out with new vets, and they want to mentor these guys. Even if you're an expert hunter, continue to sign up and get us out. I mean, we don't ever take an expert hunter over a junior hunter, right? I mean, if anything, if we really looked into it that far, I'd want to take a junior hunter more so than I want to take an expert hunter, but we really don't. I mean, it's just so busy during the waterfowl season and whatnot that we take everybody, man. But I would totally recommend any veteran beginner hunter to sign up, reach out to us, and let's go freaking hunt, man. Hang out with a bunch of vets. I don't care what you did. You could have been in for 4 years. You could have been in for 35 years. Don't matter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I hear you, man. That's super cool. So I'm gonna put the links to, CWA's Vet Hunt Program in the link, or excuse me, in the show notes. Yeah, that's the word. Jesus Christ, man. You think I just started doing this or something? But anything, any other way that people can get in touch with CWA, or anything that you're up to that we should know about?
So we've got that hunt coming up with you guys, Lazy Lab, LLHC.
Yeah, dude. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be awesome, man. It'll be a really good time. We've got a meeting a Zoom meeting next Friday on that. And as far as, I mean, it's continuously growing, and there's banquets that go year round and advertise the America's Freedom Fighters and our Veteran Hunt Program. And we are 100% self-sustained other than through CWA, right? Because CWA helps us help veterans, because CWA is such a big program. I mean, it's not a franchise, it's 501c3, but it's just stay involved, get on our website. If you want to become a member, it's $35 a year, but to sign up for our Veteran Hunt Program hunts, it's no charge as of now. But I would strongly encourage any vet to it's $35, man. And sign up for the hunts. Join.
Yeah. Hit me up. You know the contact information for this podcast. So hit me up. And I'll refer you over to Mike, and we'll get you there. If you want to get there, we'll get you signed up. Don't worry about that.
Keep them coming. Yeah. Bring it on, man. We want to take you guys out hunting. We absolutely love our veterans, meeting new people and getting new guys out, getting experienced guys out. All walks, man. We've got decoy spreads, huge freaking goose decoy spreads, access to a bunch of different properties, and love just helping guys out, vets out, man. Dude, it's what we love to do.
I can't wait, man. So one last question, and I know the Marines in here will enjoy this. Who was the father of Marine Corps aviation? It's all right. It was A.A. Cunningham.
Father of Marine Corps aviation?
A.A. Cunningham.
A.A. Cunningham. Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to ask me something like, I'm no fucking aviator, dude. Come on, bro.
You know what's funny is I've learned more Marine Corps like knowledge and history and everything else, ironically, just so I could be a jackass and do things like that to like the guys I was in with. Like, hey, JJ, do tight buckle, go. And
justice, judgment, decides integrity. Yeah. What about first female Marine?
What's that?
First female Marine.
Opa Mae Johnson.
Okay.
I like that. Nice try. 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, John A. Lejeune.
11th General Order. No, 10th General Order.
10th General Order. Oh man, I forget that one because I know the 11th is salute all standards and shit, not case. And
10th has to do with officers.
What's that?
10th has to do with officers.
Interesting. Educate me, Marine.
I just had to salute all officers of the day. And
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, now I'm fucking up. for general order.
Oh, to repeat all calls from the guardhouse farther than my own.
Third, to receive, obey, and pass on to the essentially all orders, commanding officer, officer of the day, and officers, non-commissioned officers of the guard only, I think.
Yeah, welcome back to Remembering Marine Corps Stuff with Mike and Mike. Dude, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, brother. And can't wait to go shoot some ducks with you in this coming season.
Likewise, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Man.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week of Transitions for More. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, follow it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, mike@transitionsformore.com with any questions or ideas for the show. And please send the show to people you know who might need to listen to it. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance. And just thanks for listening. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.